Hey folks, this is Josh at circlingwizardry.com, the School of Circling Wizardry. Just getting off a session with my group facilitation coaching program. Circling facilitation group coaching program. There's a lot of letters in there. There's a lot of words. Just got off a session and I wanted to just take advantage of this kind of rich energy that I'm feeling and see if I can generate an answer to a question that came up recently. So, as you know, I'm playing with this new format where you can ask me a question and I will try and make a video answer for it. So this is a question that came from someone in the Facebook group, and I will read it and then I'm going to attempt to answer it for you. So the question is, what do I do when I'm listening for story or content and then I judge myself as being disinterested or distracted? So this person is talking about being the circling facilitator, presumably leading a birthday circle, although I'm sure this would apply in other scenarios. But you are leading a circle? You know, I think this would actually apply very much for other participants in the circle as well. But you're putting attention on someone else, they're sharing, and you sort of made it your job to track, to pay attention, to, you know, take in everything they're saying, and be with them in it. Yet, for some reason, you just can't pay attention. You're distracted. You're having trouble staying interested in it. You're having trouble staying present with it. You're maybe even bored. But can't reveal that. That wouldn't be right. Right? Well, this is a very, very, very common problem that people have. I've seen it time and time again. I've experienced myself a number of times. And the answer I'm going to give is extremely simple, but rarely is it easy. And I'm gonna try and articulate this a little bit. So the answer, very simply, is reveal. If there is something, as a general rule of thumb, if I am facilitating and there is something that has my attention that is not the person I'm circling, then my job is to reveal it. And I do this for a number of reasons. I do this first and foremost to get it off my chest. Because if I am holding on to my attention of bored, I'm disinterested, I should be interested, I'm judging myself, I should be better at this, all that stuff, then I'm not really with you over here. In fact, there's a degree to which I'm not even in the room with you. I am looking at you with one eye over there on the thing that I'm managing in my experience and one eye over here. I'm multitasking. I'm not going to be able to be fully present with you. So for no other reason than that, my practice is to reveal, and sometimes that's edgy. And the thing is, when it's edgy, it's probably even more important to reveal. The other reason why it's important is that I believe as humans we are very sensitive beings to different degrees for different people, but there's a human neurological tendency to sort of join, to tune in train with other people's state. And so oftentimes what we are feeling may be happening within us, but it is not originating from us. We're actually picking up, at least in part, on someone else's experience. And so in those moments, it can be extremely valuable to share what we're experiencing with the other person. If I am experiencing boredom or disinterest or distraction, I'm pretty diligent about making it a practice of being like, I'm noticing I totally went away for a good minute there and missed what you said. What's that like to hear? Or I'm noticing I'm feeling, I'm hearing what you're saying, and I would imagine being really excited about what you're saying, but I actually feel kind of bored. What's that like to hear? And so notice one of the things I'm doing right here is I'm soliciting impact. I'm not just sharing my experience and sort of bringing the attention from you to me, but I'm actually bringing it back to you. I'm creating a bit of a feedback loop. You could say completing the feedback loop by asking for impact. So that way, there's this common concern that, well, if I share, I'm going to hog all the attention. I'm going to take the circle off the rails, and then it's going to be all about me. They're going to be circling about me. And so this is the little corrective measure, you could say. There's many other reasons for doing this, but this is what helps bring it back into the fold of, yeah, we're still circling you over here. So I'm noticing I'm getting distracted. What's that like to hear? And then we get to explore that. Some people are worried about taking the circle off the rails, and I have to remind people there are no rails. Just like the spoon in the Matrix, there's no spoon, there are no rails. There is nowhere to get, but as my teacher Decker would say, there's nowhere to get but more fully here. And if what's here for me is that I'm distracted, or what's here for me is that I'm feeling this intense thing, or I'm thinking about this, that's what's here. And I need to trust that that is more important than wherever I think we need to get, or wherever the circle-y wants to end up. Time after time, when I try and make a circle end up in a certain direction, it ends up being a really tough, arduous, dry, exhausting process. Now, there are a lot of reasons why people don't reveal. And there's a lot I could say about this, and I probably have to make another video, and this will probably come up again and again in some of these video answers, because this is like my go-to piece of advice is reveal and then ask for impact. But when I asked this person to just share a little bit more about what prevents them from revealing, there were sort of two things. One is the fear that they would hurt the person on the other end, that they would hurt the circly. If I share that I'm bored, well, isn't that going to hurt them? Wouldn't that not be caring? So from a place of care and from a place of trying to protect the other person, I might hesitate sharing. The other reason why I might hesitate sharing, which is also very common, is I am afraid that if I share this thing and it doesn't land well with you, you're going to reject me. You're not going to like me. You're going to be angry at me. There's going to be conflict to deal with. There's something that puts my own safety as a facilitator, as a human being over here on this end, my own safety and security at risk, by taking the risk of sharing something that you might not like. So it totally makes sense to me that you wouldn't take that risk. And it totally makes sense to me that time and time again, and I've been here before, I've got something that's up for me, I don't share it because I don't want to take the risk that either you will get hurt or you're going to reject me. Or some of those other things I named, like things going off the rails. But it is so important. Because if you're not sharing, then you're not fully present with them. And that is the most important thing in circling, is to be really committed to being really with the person. And so even if it's hard to hear, you are doing them a disservice, in my opinion, by not being truthful about what's going on for you. And that very often it ends up actually being really useful for the person on the other end to hear. Like, oh, I'm noticing, this happens a lot for me as a facilitator. I'm noticing I got distracted for the last 30 seconds or so. What's that like to hear? And the person will be like, oh yeah, I wasn't really, wasn't actually really that interested in what I was talking about. Or, oh yeah, I was getting kind of distracted too. And that sort of snaps them back into the moment. Other times this happens a little more rarely. Other times it's more like the circly is disappointed, or they're frustrated, or they're angry. It's, man, like, I always feel so ignored, or they had some expectation that you really like you be there with them and you give them what they want, and they're angry, and that may seem like a really bad thing. But trust me, there is aliveness there, there is connection there, and there's an opportunity for more to be discovered if you are willing to stay there with them in the anger or in the disappointment and let it not be a problem. Because that disappointment or that anger might actually lead to something really, some new insight, or some deeper connection or some release or something. So I was kind of all over the place with that answer. Let me know in the comments what you thought, or if anything's not clear, if you have follow-up questions. Also, if you have your own circling related question that you want to ask me and have me make a little video answer for, feel free to post that in the comments or send me a message or send me an email, josh@circlingwizardry.com. If you are on YouTube, hit the like or subscribe button if you want to get more of these, and I won't see you, but you will see me hopefully sometime soon. Okay, bye everyone.